I am Kasra Fard, and this is Prioritizing Project Goals. Corporations and any other organizations are like organisms. They come into being and they need to survive. To survive, an organization is to address needs arising from internal and external factors. In this lecture, we're going to discuss how these needs are to be identified and prioritized to add value to the projects and project stakeholders. While the needs of for-profit and non-for-profit organizations are different, generally the needs fall into three main categories. The need to have sound and strong operations, the need to stay competitive and maintain the current market share, that is the status quo or the current existence, and also the need to grow, to increase market share. Let's consider an example. At company ABC, we have a manufacturing as well as finance department. ABC manufactures and sells widgets. At ABC, employees are highly specialized. ABC has learned over the years that finding and training talent is difficult and costly due to the specialized nature of the company. Recently, the finance department at ABC has been receiving many complaints from frustrated employees who have been experiencing mistakes in their payrolls. These mistakes are due to the finance department receiving wrong timesheets from the manufacturing department. The finance department is to address this operational need. At the same time, the other parts of the organization, the manufacturing and research and development, are struggling to remain competitive and also at the same time to try to beat the competitive and the competition. So the company right now is facing three different needs. The need to improve the payroll system and the need to reduce the price of the products they produce and the need to increase revenue. Obviously, there are many ways of addressing any of these needs. The challenge, however, is that in many occasions, organizations fail to determine what truly is important to them, what it is that they truly need. They fall into the trap of doing what they want, not what they need. At ABC, for instance, the finance department may decide to purchase and deploy a new payroll system to process the timesheets faster and more efficiently. This might be a great initiative, but this may not address the issue because at the same time, they have identified the root cause of the payroll issues to be the timesheets that they receive have problems. So they have to fix and deal with the timesheets first before they can consider any improvement or any other improvement for that matter to their payroll system. Why is that? Why is that the company and organization may choose to do something that is not necessarily addressing their current challenges? It could be due to many reasons. It could be because the company or department fails to truly determine the root cause of the issue. Or maybe it's because they select a wrong solution. Selecting a wrong solution could be because they simply do not have the technical skill sets to select the best solution, or maybe they don't have the knowledge, the full knowledge of what the selected solution is offering. Lastly, it may be because, regardless of knowing the true root cause of the issue, the department chooses to prioritize a want over a need, something they want, something they have on their wish list, over something that they truly need and will address their issues. Let's zoom in now. In a more granular level, projects experience the same challenges as any other organizations. At their core, projects are a series of activities undertaken to achieve a series of specific and well-defined, measurable, agreed upon, realistic, and time-bound objectives. That's our SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, or agreed upon, realistic, and time-bound. These activities are taken to address the needs of an organization. And for that matter, we have to be able to prioritize the needs of organization and turn them into projects with the right prioritization, because wrong prioritization of goals could and will result in monetary and non-monetary losses in the short and long term. Now, how do we determine and how do we find the needs, and how do we differentiate them from wants? Needs are clearly determined by analyzing the strategy, the mission, vision, set of values of the organization in which the project is running. In the Cost and Value Management and Projects book, and I will have the name and more information on the book at the end of this lecture. In the book on page 17, we read about the concept of project strategy. The concept of the project strategy is a bigger picture, is where project planning, the project requirements, and the project needs are being defined. As the book puts it and articulates it, to be able to have a successful project to add value to the stakeholders, we need to tie and link the project strategy to the corporate strategy. As project managers, we have to be very familiar with the strategy of our various organizations, the organizations in which we are running and executing projects. The scope of the project is another aspect that has to be analyzed. The scope of a project needs to be analyzed to ensure every aspect, activity, and goal of the project will address only the predefined and agreed upon scope of the project. That is the scope baseline. That's what we have to address. And scope creep is something that we have to be very well aware of and stay away from. And finally, the cost and benefits of every activity, deliverable, and milestone in the project. Now, the first two items are what we do over and over through the life of the project. To name a few, we do it when the project is being initiated, the charter is developed, scope statement is developed, statement of work is developed, the charter is approved, the plan is approved, the project plan is approved, etc. However, the third item is a more expensive technique. It is complicated and it requires further discussions. Of course, we have to be careful. We are going to do a lot of analysis, but we do not want to fall into the analysis paralysis trap. So what is cost-benefit analysis? Some confuse this technique with return on investment and or return on capital. Of course, in ROI or ROC, return on investment and return on capital, return is purely monetary. And that's why we can use mathematical tools. Cost-benefit analysis, on the other hand, considers both monetary and non-monetary benefits of every aspect of a project, or any endeavor for that matter. This combination of monetary and non-monetary benefits is what makes this a really interesting technique. Cost-benefit analysis is a view into the future. It looks into two different aspects, monetary and non-monetary aspects of every goal that we have in the project. The financial or monetary analysis is performed with limited actual financial information. Everything we have when we are doing this analysis is high level. and is based on high-level cost estimates. As a result, this analysis will be incomplete and even inaccurate, depending on what assumptions are made and how much these assumptions happen to come true. The financial analysis may be close or very different from reality. In short, this financial analysis is rather subjective. The non-monetary benefits will be purely based on the expert judgment of the subject matter experts, the SMEs. These benefits will be framed and articulated depending on how much these SMEs are interested in the topic at hand. In short, this is yet another subjective approach. Regardless of the shortcomings, the cost-benefit analysis is one of the most powerful tools that we have. So how do we do cost-benefit analysis? First, we need to determine the impact and the benefit impact of every goal of the project. These impacts are generally communicated in terms and forms of percentages. The total cost impacts will have to add up to 100%. The total benefit impacts will have to add up to 100% as well. So if they don't add up to 100%, a mistake has been made. Once we have the cost impact and the benefit impact, we have to determine the ratio of benefit impact over cost impact. And it has to be benefit over cost. And then once we've done that calculation, we will use that ratio as an index to sort various project deliverables and prioritize them. Now, I have to emphasize one more time, this is the benefit over cost ratio, not the other way around. The reason is that there is cost associated with everything that we do in the context of a project. So cost can never be zero. There's always cost, there's always a number. But there are many things that we do in the context of a project that they have no benefits and they add no values. And as such, their benefits will be zero. If we do cost over benefit ratio, we will be putting ourselves in a situation that potentially we will be dividing a number by zero. To ensure that we won't be putting ourselves in an undefined situation, we have to use benefit over cost. Now, cost-benefit analysis goes beyond a simple need versus want analysis. It becomes a powerful tool that can be used to prioritize and decide on what needs are to be done now and what can be postponed to a future phase or future projects. There are generally few benefits, values of using this analysis, cost-benefit analysis. We can use this analysis to identify quick wins. If a deliverable in a project requires a spectacularly small amount of investment and can deliver a massive benefit to the project, to the sponsor, to the clients, then we should focus on that and try to deliver that as soon as possible. This will be our quick win. Identifying project champions. Through cost-benefit analysis, project managers can also find out who in the organization will benefit from what project and which project deliverable. A detailed stakeholders analysis combined with a thorough cost-benefit analysis can help project managers find champions. I will have more detailed discussions on a stakeholders analysis as well as identifying project champions in future. Helping with analyzing the impacts of change requests. The cost-benefit analysis is more than just a tool. It is a way of managing project scope. Project managers will continue to analyze the cost and benefits of every decision they make throughout the life of the project. When a change is requested, various aspects of a project will have to be analyzed, reviewed, evaluated, and prioritized. As a result of major changes, even project itself may no longer be relevant, or its level of priority in the organization may change. That is, either it may go up or come down. In this case, the project may be put on hold, cancelled, or receive more resources to allow for expansion of scope, or reduction in time or budget, or a combination of these. These will all be revealed clearly through the cost-benefit analysis. Let's consider an example. Let's go back to the ABC company. As we discussed earlier, ABC company has some specific issues that it's trying to deal with. There are the payroll issues, the unhappy employees due to the issues in their payments, as well as trying to stay competitive and find and break into a new market share, and get more market shares. So they have a series of goals. The first goal is to correct the timesheet process in the manufacturing department, because that is the source of the payroll issues. Then they want to purchase and deploy a new payroll system to improve the efficiency of payroll processing. They want and they need to train the finance team on the use of the new payroll system after it has been deployed. And finally, they have realized the need to improve the employee engagement, to improve the morale of the employees and reduce the turnover rate. So, the project manager is assigned, and the project manager develops the scope statement and the high-level cost requirements and determine the cost impact of each of the goals. Then the project manager calculates the cost impact by dividing the cost associated with every goal over the total cost, and also interviews the SMEs and determines the benefit impact. Finally, calculates the benefit over cost ratio. So for correcting the timesheet process, the cost impact is 15%, meaning 15% of the project budget will be spent in correcting the timesheet process. The benefit impact is determined to be 40%. As a result, benefit over cost ratio is 2.7. Deployment of the new payroll system is determined to require 70% of the project budget and will have 20% impact on the benefits to the organization. The training will require 10% of the project and will bring 10% benefits. And employee engagement requires 5% cost of the project, but brings 30% benefits to the project and to the organization. So as we can see, in terms of cost impact, 15% plus 70% plus 10 plus 5 will add up to 100%. And in terms of the benefit impact, 40% plus 20% plus 10 plus 30 will add up to 100% as well. So our impact analysis for both cost and benefit, they are correct. When we look at the benefit over cost ratio, we see some very interesting results. We see the benefit over cost ratio to be 6 for employee engagement. That is certainly our employee engagement is a quick win, something that we have to do, and we have to do as soon as possible so we can bring a high level of benefit to the organization. On the other hand, the deployment of the new payroll system at 0.28 will go to the bottom of the list and will receive the lowest level of priority. We shouldn't forget the fact that the deployment of the new payroll system and the training will go hand in hand. So if we do not deploy the new system, then the need for training will be eliminated as well. As a result, we can save 80% of the cost of this project. And that 80% can be used to achieve other goals in other areas in the organization. We could use this to focus on getting a competitive edge in the market or improve our market share. So as we can see, there is way more benefit to the cost-benefit analysis than just prioritizing the simple goals of a project. We can understand the strategy of the organization better. We can tie the strategy of our project to the strategy of the organization. And finally, we can decide what we should do in the context of our project and what we shouldn't do. And potentially, if there is a reason to cancel our project, so we can use the limited and valuable resources of the organization towards supporting a separate project. The context of this lecture is based on the cost and value management in project. I have the information on ISBN here. And if you're interested in further